America's first homegrown drag king nearly destroyed her career when she eloped to Paris with an actress who was at the apex of a fatal love triangle. Let's talk about Ella Wesner. Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. I say that Ella was the first homegrown drag king because the very first celebrity male impersonator in the US was a British performer named Annie Hindle. We'll talk about her in another video. Ella Wesner, however, was born in New Jersey in 1841 and raised in Philadelphia. She started out as a dancer, and she did cross paths with Annie Hindle for a few weeks when they were both on the same bill for the opening of the fall season of the Waverly Theater in New York in August of 1869. I suspect that's where the story that Ella worked as Annie's dresser originates, but according to scholar Gillian Roger, there's no evidence of that. But it was Annie's agent, T. Alston Brown, who thought that Ella might make a good male impersonator after he saw her dance a male role in a ballet, so he set her up for a trial run at Tony Pastor's Opera House. She debuted on Monday, July 25th, 1870, and was a huge hit. The New York Clipper wrote of her debut, "From the moment of her first appearance, she ingratiated herself into the favor of the audience, and at the close of her first song, her success was assured. Nature has liberally endowed her for this specialty, with an almost faultless form, a face quite masculine, and jet-black curling hair which she cut short. She might easily walk Broadway in male attire without her sex being suspected." Ella became known as a brave and dashing performer and the beau ideal of male impersonators. She was known as much for being a quick change artist as she was for being a character vocalist, because she didn't just play one character. She played dozens, including Champagne Charlie, the cigarette-smoking Captain Cuff, and a drunken dandy who falls asleep in a barber's chair. People, especially the working-class men who made up a big portion of vaudeville's audience, loved her. But 2 years into her career, Ella almost threw it all away when she fell in love with Josie Mansfield, who is best known for being the mistress of one of New York's wealthiest robber barons, Jim Fisk. However, Josie was also in a romantic relationship with Ned Stokes, a man with whom Fisk had several slightly shady but lucrative business deals. As you can imagine, this did not go well as the two men battled for her affection, and after an escalating series of blackmail attempts and lawsuits among the three, Ned Stokes shot and killed Jim Fisk in the middle of the Grand Central Hotel on January 6th, 1872. So you can see why it was a bit of a scandal when Ella broke her contract, left the show that she was headlining, and eloped to Paris with Josie several months later. It's unclear what happened between the two women, but Ella returned to the United States alone in spring of 1873 and joined Tony Pastor's National Summer Tour as though nothing had happened. Audiences forgave her, though, and her star continued to rise through the 1880s. At the height of her career, Ella was earning $200 a week. That's about $6,000 in today's dollars. It was the largest salary that had ever been paid to a single star of any gender up to that point. As the Civil War drew to a close and the country's mood and taste shifted, Ella's career began to wane, and she retired somewhere between 1895 and 1902. Ella Wesner died in 1917 at the age of 76. She was buried in an Actors Fund plot in the Evergreen Cemetery in Brooklyn, wearing a man's suit, as she requested. That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources and further reading, is available in the usual place.